Whole lot of gang shit. It's a whole lot of gang shit going on. What's happening? What's cracking? How is you living? How you living? Hope you living smooth. It's your girl, Lady Rev, with another episode of Talking Out the Side of the Neck. With our last episode being Love Yourself, I felt it only appropriate to follow up with this episode, which will be titled Creating Self-Confidence. Yeah. If you haven't had self-confidence in the past, in order to have it now, you're going to actually have to be intentional about what that looks like and how to build that within yourself. So, the notes that I have, I'm going to go over the notes that I have, and then we're just going to talk out the side of the neck. So, couple notes I have here is knowing things that you can do to build confidence. Examples being time, space, decisions, practice, and trusted advice and self-awareness. Okay, so I'm going to try to just break through some of that and hopefully make some sense. Okay, so first, what you need to do to build self-confidence might be different person to person, right? And so we're not going to focus on like specific things to do, but more so some parameters or some guidelines in order to help build that within yourself. So the first one is time. Please recognize that building self-confidence does take time, especially if you didn't previously have it. So I don't think you should rush the process or think that your self-confidence is just going to come overnight. That's not really realistic in my eyes. In order to actually build real self-confidence that keeps you secure and withstands any challenges that you may come across, it's important to give yourself enough time to develop those skills and believe in them, quite frankly, to really believe in them. With that type of time, you also need to think about the space that you do it in. If you are in the beginning stages of building self-confidence within yourself, I think it is very important that you do not do this in spaces that add too much pressure or tension to you, okay? Because you're in the process of learning. We don't need any type of pressure or tension to fuck up your ability to build self-confidence, okay? And so it's important that you do this shit in a safe-ass space, you know? Now, what a safe space is important for you to define for yourself. I think that's where the trusted advice and self-awareness comes from. Like, you have to have people that you feel safe practicing that self-confidence with until you can deal with the pressure. Or not even just or, it's like maybe along with that, being self-aware to the point where you understand what you're practicing and how it can be beneficial to yourself and others. I'm not sure if that necessarily makes sense, but I think that's why I put self-awareness as well, because we're not talking about self-consciousness. I don't think that's the term for it. I chose self-awareness because it was more so, in my mind, it was more so about being intentional about you building your self-esteem and your self-confidence. And so we can't unknowingly practice it. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, intent is everything. So you need to be intentional about practicing it. You need to be intentional about where you're practicing it. You need to be intentional about how long you practice and the conditions in which you practice it in. Another thing I'll say is the decisions, right? I'll say one way to practice self-confidence is in the decisions that you make. And that's more so like if your intuition is telling you something, then follow your intuition. Learn how to follow your intuition, how to trust your intuition no matter what the circumstances are. If something goes against your safety or sanity, learn how to say no. Learn to be comfortable saying no. So I think that's what I mean by decisions. Those little everyday decisions that we make can add into or take away from our self-esteem and our self-confidence. And so it is very important that you're always being intentional, always having direction with your shit and making sure that this direction aligns with your overall goal. Okay? Like, especially, I would say, especially when you're like in the beginning phases of this shit, right? Every decision that you make has some type of long-term effect. You kind of have to see it like that. So you can't see making, let me slow down a little bit. Making spur of the moment decisions that could possibly not benefit you is not going to be acceptable. I can't say it won't be allowed because you're going to do whatever the fuck you want to do for real. But I'm saying it won't necessarily be acceptable because it might be counterproductive to your growth. We have to be comfortable slowing shit down sometimes, you know? Sometimes shit is moving really, really fast and we feel like we have to keep up. But the reality is we control the pace. And you need to really be in control of the pace of your development, okay? There is no right or wrong. There is no fast or too slow type shit. It really needs to be at what you're comfortable with, what you can be confident and secure with. Now, as you get more invested in your self-esteem and self-confidence, you might change your pace. And that's perfectly fine to change the pace. But only do that when you get to the level of being comfortable where you at. Once you're comfortable, then we can move up. Until you're comfortable, stay where the fuck you at. Okay? Because if you move too fast, you're going to come right back to where you started. And if you move too damn slow, you might not actually be making it anywhere. So it's really kind of up to you to figure out your pace and figure out, you know, what works for you. This is all about self, right? So self is in control of this. Self determines what this could look like or feel like. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, practice. I've already mentioned practice several times. You have to keep practicing it. It's in order to get better at it and to build more on it, you have to practice it in every area of your life. You need to practice self-confidence at work. You need to practice self-confidence at home. You need to practice it within your different relationships, within your friendships, within your family, within yourself and your decision-making process. You have to keep practicing it because the reality is life is constantly shaping and evolving and throwing shit your way. And sometimes you never know the type of circumstances that'll challenge your self-confidence. And so as long as you're always kind of practicing that, you build your ability and capacity to withstand shit. You know what I'm saying? You're going to build it. I guess, you know, the terms like perseverance and resilience can come to mind in that way. But I also kind of see them as depressing. So I don't like to use them too much because perseverance means like you're just constantly, both of the terms actually, in my opinion, perseverance and resilience, both imply that you are literally just consistently going through shit. And yeah, you coming out on top, but it's like consistently going through shit. And so I don't really want to think of it as like just turmoil and long going turmoil. But I will say shit does happen. And when shit happens, you got to be ready for it. So keep practicing your self-confidence. Keep exercising it in different areas of your life and allow yourself to see the rewards. Like, and allow yourself to benefit from the rewards of your self-confidence. Now, there's levels to this shit, right? The higher you get with your self-confidence, the more people may challenge you. The more people may try to rock that shit or kind of get you off your Richter or, you know, oh shit, who knows? Ain't no way in West Hee Haw Hell a motherfucker will not try to push their issue sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just like that. Some people are just made to push. You know what I'm saying? And that's all right. We're not mad at them for being pushers. We're going to more so focus on how we withstand the push. This last note here, trusted advice and self-awareness. I kind of mentioned self-awareness a little bit. I'm going to go with trusted advice. This kind of goes back to the episode that I was talking about. It takes a village. So it takes a village to be successful, and you need to be mindful of who your village is. That's where the trusted advice comes from. If you have a good village around you, people that you trust and love, and people that trust and love you, You know what I'm saying? And we're doing this all in healthy ways, progressive ways, not all this like demeaning, demanding shit. That could be a safe space for you to practice your self-confidence without consequence. You know what I'm saying? You need folks who can push you sometimes in the better direction and give you like constructive feedback or keep it real with you for real when you're really struggling with the shit. Everybody can't provide that advice, right? That's why I've said before, be mindful of your village. Everybody can't provide that advice. You can't get trusted advice about self-confidence from a motherfucker who don't have self-confidence, from a motherfucker that don't love themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's really stupid. I didn't want to say stupid, but it's stupid to me. Like how, once again, how can a motherfucker do for you what they can't do for themselves? Like that just don't add up to me. It makes not a none of sense. You know what I'm saying? So you need some trusted advice. You need some folks that you could practice your self-conscious or confidence around and just keep building on it with them. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get to a high enough level, it's not going to necessarily matter about the trusted advice. You know, that's going to always be there. Always keep that in your corner. But once you get to a certain level in self-confidence, you're not going to need so much affirmation from other people. You're not going to need so much, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Like, you're not going to really need to be surrounded by people who are only going to push you to be self-confident. You know what I'm saying? Once you can actually embody it and feel it in your heart, mind, and spirit, the context won't matter anymore. But until you are there, till you're secured, then you need to do it around trusted folks only. Because this is what makes practice makes perfect type shit. This is what the practice, this will be beneficial to your practice. Self-awareness, I feel like I spoke enough about the self-awareness. You know, being intentional about how you're practicing your self-confidence, where you're practicing it at, and being confident in standing your ground. Stand your motherfucking ground. You practicing self-confidence can help other people practice it, can help other people understand it. It builds the capacity within others to appreciate it and respect it. You could kind of consider it all as capacity building. So I always kind of use that phrase as a way to kind of change the perception on what you're actually doing. Because I don't want, we get caught up in like, man, I can't do this. Man, this is too hard. Man, people just don't understand me. People don't want to understand me. People are just fucked up. I'm fucked up. Shit like that. When we look at it through the lens of capacity building, it gives a little bit of wiggle room, because with capacity building, it implies that the motherfucker that you building capacity with didn't have it before, or maybe didn't know what they was doing, or hasn't been exposed to it before. And so more so it's uncharted territory versus like it's impossible. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like that's a healthier way to view that versus thinking like some shit is impossible. If you think the shit is impossible, then it'll be impossible. That will manifest itself. However, if you think of it as like, man, this is uncharted territory, we're just learning and growing type shit, building capacity, you know what I'm saying? Then you in turn will get to build capacity. You have to build capacity for self-confidence. You have to build capacity to practice self-confidence around other people. That you could do this through boundaries as well. There's a bunch of different ways that you could actually build confidence within yourself. You just have to be willing to commit to the process and build the capacity. That's it. I feel like I'm getting a little repetitive. So I think I've made my point. Figure out a way to start practicing self-confidence right now, to start building your self-esteem right now, to start really practicing on a daily basis. Figure that out and stick to it. And once you feel like you're super comfortable at one level, go ahead and push yourself up to another level. Avoid too much pressure, avoid too much tension, especially in your early stages, because it can really, really compromise your development. And we don't want to set ourselves up for failure. Shit don't gotta be hella fucking hard, bro. It really don't gotta be that damn hard. It doesn't have to be hella fucking complicated or none of that shit. Don't overthink this shit, bro. Just do it bit by bit, step by step, day by day type energy. That's pretty much all I have today. Y'all be easy, stay breezy, and as always, please do not get kidnapped by no white peasies.